for Show the Monster. I'm Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander.
And today we have a very special guest. It is Ryan Tate. You know him. You love him. So you'll remember he did our beautiful, beautiful show art and made a YouTube video about that process. And so that's a clue. That's already 2 venues for you to be looking for him. He does art. He does YouTube. And the YouTube channel is very funny in addition to like artsy. So make sure to check that out. I will have links in the description below, especially if you are listening to this episode when it comes out, because he just put out a spooky season episode featuring our wonderful co-host, Chelsea. Yay. And you guys should check it out. It was super fun and super cute and very wholesome. So, Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Chelsea, you, how are you doing?
I mean, we'll just let the audience know it took us about an hour and some change to get our audio figured out. So that's what I'm feeling right now, but I'm super psyched to be here. Super excited about the movie we're talking about.
Ooh, me too, which is the Halloween tree. The, I almost said animated cartoon, which is true, but redundant. The cartoon, narrated by Ray Bradbury and featuring one Leonard Nimoy. Okay, so Chelsea, I know that you hadn't watched this until you were an adult. Ryan, what is your experience with this movie?
So I didn't discover the Halloween tree until I was in my 20s. And actually, when I found it, I was ticked off because I thought, why didn't anyone show me this sooner? It's perfect.
How did you come across it?
Just randomly on TV. I think it must have been in October.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, totally accidental.
Oh my God. Okay. Man, that's like stresses me out because people don't like randomly come across things on TV anymore because nobody has cable. So like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
When was the last new person to watch this movie? You know what I mean?
Maybe it was Ryan.
Right, yeah.
Was it? Yeah. Like, was it you?
I was the last one.
To stumble upon it? Oh, do you guys remember that?
What?
The web? No, what is it? Whenever
the internet? Yeah.
Yeah, the internet.
Yeah,
no,
the internet was
extension.
Cool.
Stumble upon, or it would click it and it would take you to a random website.
Oh,
it was like
I just completely
Reddit.
forgot about that until just now. How was it? Did they? Oh, because you can go to a random part of Reddit.
I just remember I would that's where I went to learn about new stuff. And now I go to Reddit to learn about new stuff.
Oh, yeah, good point.
I
Sorry.
see. Okay.
I just had like a flashback to that and I had completely forgot it was a thing until you said, I wonder who had stumbled upon it. I was like, stumble upon? What?
That's crazy.
Anyway,
was that a plugin or was that like a website?
I thought it was a plugin. Was it a website?
I don't know.
Oh, huh.
I thought it was a website.
I guess maybe it was both.
I thought it was a plugin. I don't know why I thought it was a plugin.
It could be both.
It's a website.
So that's the only way you can learn about the Halloween tree.
Yeah, you just have to
days.
stumble upon over and over and over again until you find it.
Maybe we should bring that back. Maybe that's something that would help.
Is it an app these days? Can we download Stumble Upon and just get like...
It looks like it's called Mix now.
Oh.
Which, maybe.
Okay.
Like getting a mixture of information. Now I'm looking at it and I'm seeing exactly what you're talking about, Ryan. Like you can go to a category and then you could choose to stumble upon different things.
Mm-hmm.
In that category. That's interesting. Oh my God. All of it's Reddit. Sorry.
There you go.
Every link on it is Reddit. Is this just Reddit? Reddit?
Right?
Reddit.
I mean, it's a very hard problem to like index all of the internet. So it makes sense that you would do it by Reddit.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Sorry, guys. I want to get back to the Halloween tree. I am super excited to talk about this. Didn't mean to go on the side tangent, but I was just had that, what is it called? Whenever memories happen and then they show up and then.
Intrusive thought. Nostalgia.
Let's go.
Flashback. Deja vu.
All of the above.
Okay, so you found it in your 20s, Ryan, and you're only 22 now, so that's not like a huge experience.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel like I'm like robbing the cradle, please.
Yeah.
A couple
yeah, no,
years
we've
ago, I
got,
found it, and oh my God, my life has not been the same since.
So you caught it on TV, and then what? Did you seek it out to watch it again? Did you just hope and pray that you would stumble upon it the next year?
Well, I looked into it, and the time I discovered it, they didn't have it on DVD, but they had it on VHS. But
Yeah.
apparently, it's really hard to find. So it was always kind of like this holy grail. And anytime I went to a thrift store, I would always hope that if I
I
looked
love
in the
this.
VHS section, I'd find a copy of the Halloween Tree.
And did you?
No, never
No.
did. Never did. And because it wasn't on DVD yet, to get it online was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's been released on DVD since, and then you can get it on streaming. But yeah, for a while it had like this like holy grail mythical status to like find a copy of the Halloween Tree.
I love this. I am so excited that okay, so you guys both discovered this as grown-ups. Ryan, you introduced it to Chelsea. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Chelsea, what was your experience?
I think so. Now that Ryan has told that story, I now remember. I think that my experience was, I think I got the DVD because he had talked about it so often,
Oh.
and I hadn't seen it. And I was like, well, I had just I think for a few years at the beginning of our relationship, I just kept checking the internet to see if it ever popped up. And then one day they finally had it, and I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and get it. And it wasn't super, they must have mass released it pretty recently. And so we were able to get it for pretty cheap at the time.
Do you think it was around when Nimoy died? I can't remember how long ago that was versus when you guys started dating.
It might have been.
When did he die?
I'm pretty sure I was in college, so between 2007 and 2011. Oh, no.
So it would have been a little bit after. No, not with. He died in 2015. So
okay, then I was super wrong.
But I think that your thought process is probably correct, because it would have been around 2015 that I would have found it.
Yeah.
So that could be why it was finally released. Is
Maybe.
because there was a whole resurgence on Leonard Nimoy because of it.
Oh, well, I'm glad his death brought something good.
Yeah.
He does an amazing job as Mound Shroud. It's fantastic.
So good.
So, for the home listener, well, let me tell you. So, I definitely watched this one as a kid. It was like a caught it on TV, and then years following, just kept an eye out for it. But I remember I feel like I even remember watching it on summer breaks. I guess that they just
Whoa.
ran out of stuff, Halloween in July, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's probably a mismemory, but yeah, I watched this 1,000 times as a kid. I always loved it and have never thought critically about it since then. So when we rewatched it for this episode, one, I still loved it. 10 out of 10, no notes, but I caught a couple things that I had never thought about before. For example, the bad guy is named Mound Shroud. Mound Shroud? Mound
Oh, yeah.
Shroud? Are you fucking kidding me? And this guy is obsessed with death. Fuck you.
I'm
my
naming the
God.
character Joe Everyman.
Yeah, I felt so stupid. And then I also Pip, our I guess he's not a main character. What would you call him? He's our inciting character, right? He's
yeah. We learn a lot about him through his friends.
Yeah.
And he's not really present through it, and he's just kind of always running.
Right. Yeah. We're one step behind Pip the whole movie. But at the start, when the kids go to his house to celebrate Halloween with him, and there's that note on the door that says he's going to the hospital because he has appendicitis, and they act very seriously, and they're like, you can die from that. And I was like, I guess you can, but that's not the first thing that comes to mind. Did we only figure out appendicitis in like the 2000s? Because this is an early 90s movie. Like, was it much more serious in the 90s or when Ray Bradbury wrote the book?
Ooh, you know, huh?
Because it's like not a joke in the movie.
So
No.
like
he
it's
was
like it's serious. And
right.
So
yeah,
I was
didn't
like,
think about that because yeah, I had my buddy. He had his appendix removed and he was fine, and he is fine.
yeah, it's like
So,
an in and out
yeah.
type of thing. You
Yeah.
just go in there, they grab it. Like, unless it gets
As long
really
as it
bad before
bursts,
you go
yeah.
in.
As long as it hasn't
Right.
burst yet, you're fine.
He wrote this in the 70s.
Well, you're
but
not
he,
fine. It's terrible, but at least.
But he grew up in the 30s, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe it was real
No.
bad in the 30s.
Yeah,
Ew.
But this
Yeah.
movie is sort of like out of time. Like, it doesn't have like
Yeah,
a
that's true.
like,
I feel like I
when
couldn't
does it
pinpoint
occur?
the time.
Right.
But like it also like gives descriptors that make it seem like it could be like in every town. Like this town was like you were still in the middle of town, but you could still be out in the woods in mere
Mhm.
seconds.
Yeah.
Like it still
does a
gives you
great
the
job.
feeling of making it anytime, anywhere, without it being. It's just
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
beautifully
universal. It's classic. The only thing is, part of me was like, do kids still get to like go out on their bikes alone without parents for Halloween?
Oh, right.
Do they still get to do that? We did when I was a kid.
is it?
I also don't really know how old these kids are.
Yeah,
Like, they
and I
could
get-
be anywhere between 6 and 16, you know?
That is
Like,
true.
I don't
That
know.
is also
yeah.
true.
I don't know how old they are.
I feel like it could be. I don't know. I feel like kids, depending on. I don't know. I don't know the makeup of children now. I guess
Yeah, I don't know. I should have asked some of my friends with children.
Yeah.
Like,
I
don't
feel
know.
like the friends that I have with children will let their children go do things without having. Like saying you're going to be with someone is enough for it to be okay. And everyone's got phones now. And at that time, no one had phones.
No
No one had
phones,
any way.
yeah.
Like they've got track my phone, find my iPhone. Everyone's got Apple tags on them. Like everyone's.
Yeah, exactly.
Their
Like, you
parents
can
are
find your
tracking the
kids.
shit out of them. Yeah.
They're fine.
So it's probably the same, but they would track the shit out of them as they were out. But then, man, they would go through time. How
They're
is
in
their
medieval
AirTag going to
Europe?
tell them?
Oh yeah. Do you think that they like that it like dissolved? Like, do you think that they were able to bring their tech through the vortex, or did it just like they got
Just-
raptured and it's just their air tags in the street?
The app shows a Wikipedia page on Notre Dame.
yeah.
They're here.
And they're like, what? How? Okay.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about trick or treating as a kid, and I like always did it alone. I don't remember having a chaperone after the age of like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So like I was
Yeah.
out there as a kid, and I remember getting lost one Halloween and having to go into some stranger's house to use their phone to call our parents to come get us. And the conversation was like, "Hi, I'm lost. Okay, where are you? I don't know. Excuse me, miss." Like, where am I? Did you guys trick or treated? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan still
Yeah,
trick or
yeah.
treats.
Ryan still trick or treats.
Yeah. I know a little bit
No,
about
that's
it.
good. You got to keep yourself out of trouble. You know, trick or treating is wholesome. You're not like egging houses or toilet papering if you're trick or treating.
No, one time I wanted to egg a house, and me and my buddy, we bought a dozen eggs, and we
I like
hid-
that because
we-
you're like, we're just gonna do the one house. We're just gonna try
You're
it.
not going to terrorize the
we
neighborhood.
were walking the neighborhood earlier when it was still light out.
You
and-
cased it. You cased the joint.
Yeah, and we stashed the eggs in a ditch and then covered it with leaves. And we're
Smart.
like, we're gonna come back here and we're gonna hit some houses.
And did
but
you?
we chickened out.
You chickened out. I get it. Eggs.
Yeah, and thank goodness. Man.
So
Ryan was
did
a
those
little
eggs
menace.
just like spoil?
Oh, maybe that was worse.
Yeah, like those
Oh,
eggs just
yeah,
rotted.
I wonder,
Just
like-
and
spoiled
you like
eggs.
terrorized the whole neighborhood. You should have egged that house.
I wonder if someone came out and was like, oh, 3 eggs. Maybe it was like a gift. Maybe someone was very happy about it.
Oh yeah, maybe
I
somebody had like
wonder,
omelets that morning.
when someone discovered those eggs.
Maybe a kid trick-or-treated and they were like walking and they saw it in the bushes and they were like, eggs.
yeah. And then that kid
Egged a house.
Yeah.
We
You're
actually
an
had
enabler.
to. We had to go to a few places because our local grocery stores wouldn't sell the night before Halloween for that specific reason. So we found this
I love that.
$1 General. It was like, this is the spot. They're going to sell it to us.
They were like, we don't care.
And they also like sell kids Robitussin without carding them. They're just a dealer in town. Oh my God. Okay. But these kids in this movie are super wholesome. So for the home listener, if you haven't watched this movie, number one, you
Do it.
absolutely should. I think
It's
bought
on
it
Amazon.
on Amazon.
Yeah.
I think it was on Apple TV too, but use justwatch.com or just watch the app and you'll be able to find it. Super great. It's like, it's so fun and wholesome. It's, I don't know, not even an hour and a half, I don't think. It's a shorty.
It's like an hour. It's a little over an hour.
Short and sweet.
It's also, it is darker for a child's movie, but I feel like in a good way.
I think in a good way. Like
In
nothing
a very good way, I would say. And educational. Very educational.
educational. This is a little bit like Wishbone.
Mm-hmm.
In that we're like traveling through time and we're learning about different cultures. So what happens in this movie is we're primarily following this this group of kids, age indeterminate. They're on 2-wheel bikes, not tricycles. I don't know how old they are. It's 4 of them. We've got one gal. Her name is Jenny, and her costume is a witch. And then we've got oh gosh.
we have
Skeleton.
Ralph the
Skeleton.
Mummy.
Tom Skeleton.
Ralph is the mummy.
Tom Skeleton is the skeleton.
Tom. Okay.
And then Wally the Gargoyle.
Wally the Gargoyle.
Or Monster.
And Monster. I always just called him Monster.
Yeah.
Tom looks just like my friend Justin, who is my horror watching buddy. So I always like think of him as Justin now. And in
Aw.
fact, when I watched this movie, I like sent a screen grab to Justin and was like, lol, this is you. He was like, haha, I don't know if he knows the movie. He's not great at text. Justin, are you listening? So it's these 4 kids and it's Halloween night. So we're in our costumes where we want to go trick-or-treating. So they're probably not 16. They're still trick-or-treating. Anyway, they go to their friend Pip's house and it's pretty clear that this like group of 5 is inseparable and Pip is their ringleader. And so they're like, how can we go trick-or-treating without Pip? And we get to Pip's house and it's like very startling when we get to the house because there aren't any decorations on it or anything. There's like
And it sounds like he decorates a lot. Like that's like their thing.
Yes. Yeah. They're like, it looks almost abandoned, right?
Yeah.
Like we come up to the house and there's an ambulance out front. And as it drives away, the kids go up to the door. They see a note from Pip to them that's like, go have fun. I'm in the hospital for appendicitis, but like I'll catch up. And that's when they're like, oh no, you can die from that. And what happens then? They get going and they find themselves at Moundshroud's house.
They see Pip, right?
They see Pip. That's right. They're going to take a
And they're
shortcut
like,
through the
"Oh, fucking
ravine.
Pip."
Yeah, they want to like meet up with him at the hospital because they don't want to trick or treat without their best
okay.
bud.
Yeah.
And then Tom says, hey, I know a shortcut since they're just on bikes and foot. Let's cut through the ravine.
The ravine.
Because what could happen in the
so
ravine?
Spooky, scary. And you're right. They see Pip and he's like,
Before we go, when we talk about the ravine, our podcast was almost called 2 things from this quote that in the, let's see
from
if I
the
can
book.
find it. Yeah. Let me see if I can find the quote.
I'll vamp. You look it up. Yeah. So this movie is based on the Ray Bradbury novel, which I have not read, and in fact thought it was a short story until Chelsea corrected me.
Oh yeah, it's an entire book. Yeah.
Yeah, entire book.
I found the quote.
Hit
So
us
he
with
says, The ravine was filled with varieties of darkness, night, shadows, Toad Eyes and Raven Beaks. So we almost called it The Ravine, but that was already taken. And then Almost Varieties of Darkness, but we did not because we were focusing solely on horror movies. And that we thought was such a brighter topic. That's not right. Broader topic. So we thought that encompassed... Yeah, exactly. So we thought that there was more in that than we would be capturing. But yeah, this movie. Sorry, that quote is my favorite quote in the entire movie, just because it gives you the essence of Halloween and spookiness. It's just ooh.
Yes, yeah. This whole movie is like quintessential Halloween to me. And Ray Bradbury narrates it. So there are, I mean, I haven't read the book, so this is fully assumption. But I assume that the way he narrates are like sections from the book. They're passages from the book, right? Yep. Yeah. Have y'all read it?
Ryan has.
I did the audiobook.
Yeah.
And I was going to refresh for this podcast.
Yeah.
And I started doing it while I was painting. But I started to get distracted because like the way he writes the book, it's so like beautiful and poetic that I could not focus on it. I was like focused on my painting too much, but there are some differences, but he wrote both. So the majority of it is the same.
Oh, wait. So he like wrote the movie. He didn't just
he wrote the screenplay.
Okay. I love that. Okay. So it must be like pretty true to, even if not beat for beat, but like the essence of the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is, in the book, there's like, it's all boys though.
Oh, no Jenny?
No,
No,
Jenny.
he made Jenny. Actually, I just learned this. Whenever they were going to make the animated special for this, Hanna-Barbera, the animation company, they said, hey, you should probably add like a girl, right? Because they're becoming more important.
It's 1991.
Yeah.
Girls are important.
And he said, you're right. I didn't include a girl when I wrote this because that's how it was when I was a kid. We wouldn't let the girls join us for trick-or-treating. And I was thinking, he was born the year women got the right to vote, so checks out.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, so he added Jenny, and he said that he loves the character, and he's glad that he did it.
I'm so glad. Like, Jenny rules. Jenny rocks. And he didn't even... Okay, I love this because he makes Jenny, like, feisty, but not in, like, a trope way. Like, I thought that he made, like, a pretty realistic 12-year-old girl. And so the fact that he, like, added her after the fact... That shows like character growth for Ray Bradbury, and I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that he wrote her in, and he didn't like double down and like, no, this is the way I wrote it. I'm not changing it.
Oh, that's cute. So wait, okay, so in the original, in the book, there are still four boys. Then
there's 8 boys.
There's 8 boys.
8 boys.
That's
9 including
too many.
Pip.
That's too many.
Yeah. In the book, you have mummy, gargoyle, or monster, skeleton witch, just like in the cartoon. But then you have ape man, a beggar, Mr. Death. And then the last one is a little like ambiguous because at one point he refers to them as a ghost. And then another point refers to them as a devil boy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
Huh. Okay. I'm gonna have
to read that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at the artwork for the cover, there's like Devil Boy, or like one of these 2 characters should be the ghost, but they made them the Devil Boy. And then on a different cover, they're the ghost.
Okay.
So people are thinking like maybe he like forgot about one of the characters because they don't have a major part. They're just kind of like in the background.
So he was just like real fast and loose with his
Yeah,
writing?
he might
So
have
there was a
been.
guy that was a witch?
Yeah.
That was my question. So we had a boy witch. Did they call him a warlock or did we call him a witch throughout?
They called him a witch.
Okay.
Interesting.
I think Jenny replaced like one of the other boy characters, and I think they mostly kept it the same. Just like
Interesting.
I like that even better. That's like, what was that movie? I think it was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but like Crystalia was a skis, so we nixed him, and so we swapped in Tig Notaro, but didn't change any dialogue. We were like, Tig can do it.
Yeah.
Like I like that. Like you don't have to change the way the character is because of their genitals. Just like
Yeah,
and
that's
wasn't
true.
that true with Alien too? Like the protagonist
Yeah.
was a dude, but
Ridley.
then they're like,
Ridley
that's
was
why
supposed
not-
to be a guy.
yeah, they're like, why not just make it a girl?
Ripley. Sorry, Ripley. Oh my God. Yeah, Ripley.
Also, wait.
I was thinking of
Sorry,
Ridley Scott.
that's by Ridley Scott, and the lead character is Ripley. Jesus fucking Christ!
This is a very Halloween realization to have.
Oh my God! First Mound Child. Now this.
Here's
Okay.
another thing that's like, I thought, oh, of course, but I didn't know until very recently. The Halloween tree is a metaphor for the different cultural influences that all stem from the changing of the seasons and death.
Oh yeah.
Which is just like, think of like a family tree.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Different like branches. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I didn't go that far into it, but you're right. Like, so he does talk about it in he being Ray Bradbury being the narrator. No, I guess it's Mountroud who has these lines. But like when we get to the witch section, he talks a little bit about like this is the new year for this culture. Like it's like fall is when like things turn over. That makes sense for the new year. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, so that does make sense for it to be like when we reflect on death, I guess. Like it's the dying of a year and we're becoming a new year. So like yeah, but yeah, it is like a family tree. Like all of these go back to like the same like one central idea, and things like evolve differently depending on the community. Okay, we gotta tell the listeners what this movie is about. Okay, so
Great point.
these kids, we get to the ravine, spooky, scary. We think we see Pip, but he looks like translucent and ghostly. And Tom is like, nah, it's a trick of the light. So we follow him through the ravine. We find ourselves at this like creepy old house. We meet the person who lives in the house. His name is Mound Shroud, which is very on the nose unless you watch the movie first when you're a kid, and then you don't realize it until you're 30 fucking 3, and then you know. And Mound Shroud is a fucking creep. He's got this big Halloween tree out front, which we don't actually notice until we like get to talking to him. And the Halloween tree is filled with pumpkins with different faces carved in them. And we come to learn that those are souls in the pumpkins. And one of the pumpkins on the tree is Pip. And Mountroud is very obsessed with Pip. He's like, that little snot is on the run, and I've got to catch him before sun comes up because like his soul is mine, dibs. And the kids are like, well, let us help. We want to protect our friend. And like, we can talk about the problems there. Like, why are you aligning yourself with this guy? Whatever. But then they like chase Pip through time into like different historical settings that correlate with each of their costumes. And so we like go back to ancient Egypt, and we learn about mummies and like the rituals there. And then we go to Europe for witches, and we learn about like the new year, like we were talking about, and how like witches were intelligent, and that was criticized, and then they were burned. Y'all remember the trials? Y'all remember them? Anyway, and then like we go to France with Notre Dame, and we learn about gargoyles and how monsters like represent our fear of the dark. And then and we go to Mexico, and we learn about like Dia de los Muertos, and it's all so fun. And we just like fly through history and learn all of these things about their costumes. And Mountroud is like a very patient teacher, even though he is the bad guy.
Yeah. Very much.
And then and in each of these settings, we like catch a glimpse of Pip, and the character that we're focused on in each in each setting has like this like personal moment with Pip separate from the rest of the group where he like talks about what their friendship means to them, and it's so sweet and like man, Pip just
I'm already getting
great,
emotional just remembering this part.
I know.
Like,
I'm
It's a
trying to get
beautiful
through like
story.
the overall plot pretty quickly so that we can like dive into the pieces that are really touching to us. So yeah, we have these like little glimpses of the relationship between the kids and Pip and amongst themselves. And wait,
Right.
so there's like a love story between Tom and Jenny.
Yeah.
Is there a gay love story in the original book?
What? Good question.
Great question, right?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I
but did
think-
you
Well,
read it
is that the way-
closely?
No.
Do you
Well,
think
it's
it was
way
like a
for-
hidden
What was
40s
Ray like? We
love
can only
story?
put in a lady if it's going to be a character.
If she has a crushy poo.
Yeah, crushy poo on one of the boys. I mean, I love this movie so much, but that could have been like he was like, we can bring her in, but she must.
No, you know what? I believe that he was like, she's one of the boys. She's like always, she's like dirty with skinned knees, like the other boys are. And then the fucking network, the producers were like, we gotta
Ooh.
make a love story.
Ooh, you're probably right. I feel that. Yep.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
know how
that's-
the
that's my
studios always
headcanon.
interfere. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Studio. Thank you. Yeah. I bet that's what happened. I bet they were like, if we're doing a girl,
Yeah.
she's gotta have
Gotta
a
have a
crush.
crush.
Boo. And you know
Damn.
what? Now I'm mad that she was the witch. Okay, whatever.
But it was still very progressive to make a boy witch. So like,
Oh yeah.
I love that. I gotta read the book. Yeah. So we're bopping around through time, and there's like a deadline. Like when the sun comes up, something will happen. Like what happens if Mountroud doesn't get to Pip before the sun comes up?
I think Pip just dies. I think the
And he
The-
goes to
the
what? Like
urgency is,
purgatory? Like
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I
because
always
Mountroud
took.
is the one with the deadline, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like, does he lose
Pip
out
stays in
on
control of his pumpkin.
Oh.
or does he like go to heaven? Okay, I've got questions about like what Mountroud is. So
We'll
let's
talk
get
about
through
that
the
in
plot
depth
and then
later.
we'll
Yeah.
and then we'll circle back.
Yeah.
So we're like bopping around through time and space. It's very Doctor Who, or I guess it predates Doctor Who. Is Doctor Who a spinoff of Halloween? Whatever.
I
Okay,
mean,
I'll figure that out later too.
The remake of Doctor Who, the new because the old Doctor Who was way before.
Not way before the books.
78? Wait, 70s?
Oh, 70. But you said
I
he
don't
was
know why I said 78.
He was born in 1920, and he wrote this
Oh,
in like I
the
think
books.
1970 something.
Yeah, good point.
okay. So that's after
valid.
Doctor Who. Yeah, no, he pulled Doctor Who into this. Yeah. So it's the end of the line. Like the night is almost over, and we find Pip one more time, and Pip is like, "Yo, I'm dying, dudes," and Tom is like, "No, you can't die," and Mountroud is like, game over. Like I found the kid is mine. And the kids almost fucking walk away. They're like, well, shucks. And so they're about to like go back up out of this, like, they're like down under in like a,
Catacomb.
Catacomb at that
catacomb.
time, yeah.
Thank you. And, Tom finally is like, well, wait, what if I give you something valuable in exchange for Pip? And so he offers to give a year off the end of his life to Mountroud in exchange for Pip. And Mountroud is like, yes, very compelling. And then the rest of the kids are like, me too, 1 year off the end of my life. And Mountroud agrees. He's like, okay, you can have your friend back. Like, I'll get a year off the end of all of your lives. So, sick, great deal. And then Pip like turns into a beam of light again and shoots off back to, I guess, his body. And so the kids are brought back home by Mountroud back to their like current time and place, and the sun is coming up, and they ride their little bikes over to Pip's house, and they find him there, safe and sound. He wakes up groggy and talks to them through his window. And he's like, thank you guys for everything you did. And they're like, we didn't do anything. What are you talking about? And he's like, oh, I had crazy dreams about Egypt and France and Europe. And so sweet. What a happy ending. So wholesome.
Yeah, it's such a sweet ending.
It's so sweet.
But it's like, it's so also complex for a child. Like, even when Man Trout is talking about how he says, like, are you sure? Because you will miss that year whenever you get closer to it. Like, right now, it might not matter to you, but once you get closer to it, it will. But just that whole, like, they made such a big sacrifice that they don't see as a big sacrifice so much now with their, I don't know. I just thought it was, like, a really intense decision to make for it. But I agree. I mean, it's your friend. Like, at that time, your love for a friend is so much more than having that extra year on your life.
Yeah, no, I'll give up a year off the end of my life.
Yeah.
For both of you.
Oh.
Likewise.
You each get one. Tell you what, both years. Sorry, I'm pretty depressed right now and like actively want to die. So if I could give up like a bunch of years, that'd be sick.
Take them all.
We
Take
will
10.
also give you our years. So
no, don't you dare.
No. You throw a year at me, I throw a year at you. You have to be there.
No, yeah, I agree that it is like a weighty decision to make, but I wonder, I don't know, I think that my like best friends are more important to me than a year off the end of my life.
Agreed.
So it feels like an easy decision.
Oh, completely agree with that. I just feel like it's something that you don't as a child think about. Like that kind of a sacrifice for someone else isn't something that you consider when you're younger. But I feel like that this movie kind of puts you in that. I was like, oh, that's a really adult decision for a child to make. But at the same time, I think that children are way smarter than people give them credit for.
Yeah, I think that's for sure true. And I think that we're like treating kids less and less respect.
I mean, you were just talking about how we were concerned about them being able to ride out
trick or treating
on their own.
Yeah. And that's crazy. Like it's statistically provable that crime has decreased even since we were kids. So like, let them loose, let them into the neighborhood, whatever.
Is it crime has decreased because people like Ryan can't throw eggs at houses anymore? Because they're being tracked and they're like, hey, at 7:57, I saw that you were at
you think the crime has decreased
house
because of the surveillance
there were eggs at his house.
I'm going to cut that out because I don't want the point of our podcast to be like if you watch people more. We just need to Big Brother harder and then crime will go all the way to zero.
Well, crime will go all the way to zero if you support the poor, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's you don't have to watch every move they make.
That's true. No, I agree. When I say support, I mean give financial assistance and help them get out of situations that they're in. Yeah, no, I don't want a surveillance state. We are not promoting that whatsoever. I am not promoting that. If you have a Ring
camera, smash it anyway. The point I was working up to is like, do we even talk to kids about death anymore? Because that's why this is heavy, right? Like, that's why we think that this is heavy is because it's so focused on death. But the like point of the movie, like we go to Mexico. Was it Mexico where they had like a skeleton at the dinner table?
Yes. Whoa. Or was that?
That was Egypt.
Egypt.
That was Egypt. Okay. So, but it was like so natural there, you know, like it's once a year we bring out our ancestors and we eat a meal with them at the table as a way to like honor them. And so like at that time in that culture, death wasn't like scary and taboo, and it super is in our culture, at least in America in 2022. And that's I don't know, that's like a huge conversation, like, you know, like I don't necessarily agree with that. But is that why this seems scary, because I don't think that this movie has like a bunch of like jump scares. Like
no,
nothing
I
is
don't
like
think it's scary. I think it is more because even Mantrout I didn't think was scary. I know he's supposed to be the bad guy, but I was like, he seems reasonable. Like he's incredibly reasonable the entire movie. And I was like, well, I mean, I feel like I could talk to him and we could logic our way out of stuff.
I mean, I think he's gonna like try to get your soul.
Oh, for sure.
No matter
you
what,
gotta do what you
but-
gotta do.
Yeah.
Capitalism,
But, like,
right?
you
Is he
get a
capitalism?
sick
No, I'm just kidding.
Vacation along the way. Like he's gonna take you to France. You're gonna get to see Notre Dame. You know,
That's
like,
true.
Free vacation.
yeah, like this is gonna be dope.
And there
So-
have been like on Ryan and I's bucket list is to go to Dia de los Muertos. So if he could just go ahead and take us to Mexico so we can experience
Whoa.
it, I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
maybe it's good to go. Good to go. All the kids got it. So I don't know. Yeah. It's a yeah.
Right. Well, but I feel like even when we were kids, I don't know, how candidly did your family talk about death, Ryan?
Oh, not at all.
Not at all.
No,
Okay.
not even a little.
Did you experience any losses when you were a kid? Like, did it come up or
Yeah, my grandpa died when I think I was still in elementary school. But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember having any conversations about that. It was just sort
Okay.
of, I don't know. It just happened.
What about you, Chelsea?
Mine, I do not remember ever talking about death with my family at all. I do
Yeah.
remember going to funerals but it was primarily like great aunts. There was no one. My grandfather, who was very close, who did die when I was in high school, or end of high school, beginning of college, so in the summer in between. And that was like my first real experience with death. I have gotten somewhat lucky in my family my family has been through some very near death experiences pretty consistently. But we've gotten lucky in that no one has passed. But I feel like there was never any conversations about anything, or like I have an item because I do remember my great aunt who I really, really liked. I do have a piece of like, it's a musical instrument. It's like one of those like silly wall hangings you get at a craft fair because she would go with us to the craft fair every year.
Like War Eagle?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's exactly
Yeah.
the one we would go to.
Yeah.
Then that's probably where she got it. And I still have it today. Like they're like the only focus that I ever had. Oh, I say that. My other grandfather passed and I was close with him as well. But there's like the only, like I have little mementos from them, but there's never a conversation about how to like process death or how anybody else was feeling. So like to this day, I don't know how my family has even processed deaths. And I feel like that's important to be a part of. Like, I don't know how my mom processed her father's death. I don't know how my dad
Yeah.
processed it either. My grandpa also did die. My other grandpa also died recently. I have had 3 grandpas. So
Yeah.
that's not a laughing part, but I have no idea how to get through this conversation and not giggle a
I've
little
been
bit
trying
because
to like,
it is
okay,
very
when
weird.
can I make a joke?
Hmm.
Here's the one I was working on. Do you want to hear what I was
Yes,
workshopping?
thank you, please.
So what did they tell you? Did they tell you that they sent your grandpas to like a farm upstate where they can run
Oh my
free with
god,
other
that did
grandpas?
happen to our dog Sting. So close. But no one said, they just said, and I feel bad because this is something I feel bad about to this day. So I used to go to Jazzercise with a friend's mom, and it was wonderful. And then every now and then I would help babysit or I would help work in the daycare, and there were some kids in the daycare. And then the day that my grandfather passed, while I was working that, and they just I started bawling, and then they came up to me and they were like, "What happened?"
The kids
The
came up to you.
the children. And they were like, "What happened?" I was like, "Nothing, leave me alone." And then they kept asking. I was like, "Look, my grandfather died. Please leave me alone." And then
And they
I
were
left.
like, "What's died?"
And it was only an hour long, but the mother did come out and she like gave me like hand on her heart, and she was like, "I'm so sorry." Like she
Oh,
mouthed it to me
gosh.
as I was driving away, so she understood. And I felt so bad for introducing that to her children because they were pretty young, but I felt really glad that her response was kindness and not outrage at me doing that. Because I feel like sometimes today there might be a little bit of outrage for not allowing them to make that decision for their children. So I do appreciate that. God, this is a very heavy one. I feel like people need to talk more openly about death and be more comfortable with it and I think it's an American thing too. And like, if you look at other cultures, they don't celebrate death, but they remember the people that they loved and they make it a center point of their traditions.
And that's like the whole point of the movie. Like, look at how people honor their dead. Like, and that was like such a big part of like the Halloween experience in this movie. And I don't know. Yeah, I had never made that connection. I'm also curious now that I'm thinking about it. When did Halloween become big in America? Because I feel like it wasn't until the 50s. So like
Brian might know the answer to that because of his deep love for Halloween.
Yeah, I think that's about right. The 50s.
Huh.
So Ray Bradbury didn't even do trick-or-treating as a kid. He learned about Halloween as a grown-up and then wrote this book?
Interesting. I don't know.
So I listened to an interview and he said that he's had a lifelong love of Halloween, but hinted at it wasn't that big of a deal when he was younger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because he was
the best.
He was trying to get this cartoon made for a while, and he was shopping it around and no one wanted it. And I think that was because people were like, Halloween, it's like a tertiary, secondary holiday. Who cares? And then he said, well, look, I was right. Halloween is going to grow and it's going to be important. And that interview, I think, was from like the 90s. So he's probably, so he's talking about probably, in the 70s. So you're absolutely right. Yeah, it must have just been kind of a slow burn.
I was going to also ask Kelly, what was your experience with death?
Nothing. So
no conversations?
No conversations, but no death. No death. I've still never been to a funeral. I've known people to die, but nobody super close to me. Mm-hmm. So like I haven't really had to confront it in my life yet. I do know that had anybody died, we would not have talked about it.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I don't know, it was like too late in my life for my dad to be like having the talk with me, And so I was in like, I don't know, 10th grade. And he was like, they taught like sex ed at school, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, dope. So like, that's like the level of conversation that my family was having. So we wouldn't have talked about it. But we also just never had the opportunity. But I don't know. So all of my experience is like this movie and other movies.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I was going to say, we've talked about how we were raised from TV. TV did a great job.
Yeah, pretty much.
A+. Fucking good job making us moral beings. And movies like this kind of give you like, they give you empathy and understanding for other cultures and understanding where your culture might be lacking.
Man, that's another great thing about Ray Bradbury, because he's of an age where he could be like,
that's true,
super isolationist and racist, and instead he's like, let's check out these dope other cultures and how all of these things, we're all the same.
Yeah,
we're all the same.
He based a lot of the story from his own personal experiences.
Oh,
whoa.
Because he the catacomb scene, like the final scene where Pip is scared because he's on one way of the hallway. He said that was him. He actually went to Mexico and saw catacombs, and all the people who couldn't afford to pay their grave rentals, they would line them up, and then because the air was so dry, they mummified. And he walked down one end, and then he said he was terrified of coming back.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So a lot of
How old was he?
He was an adult.
I mean, that's scary. No matter how old you are.
Yeah.
So something fun.
Yeah.
So since Ryan listened to this thing, every time he came, he heard something really cool. He started to tell me about it. But I would like for him to talk about why Ray Bradbury wrote The Halloween Tree, because it is a fucking fun story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get ready. This is great.
I'm so excited.
He was inspired to write The Halloween Tree because he
when
watched...
he got appendicitis. Sorry.
Wait, what?
I said when he got appendicitis.
Yeah,
go on. Sorry. Go on.
No, he watched The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown and got pissed off. He watched it with his daughter and he said, the Great Pumpkin never showed up. They said he was supposed to show up, but he didn't show up. That's not right. So he got pissed off. He's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a Halloween story and it's going to be better.
Right. And he did. He did.
Yeah. So he started talking to his animator buddy, Chuck Jones, who I guess did like Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner. Like he animated all those. Wow. And they were kicking around ideas. And Bradbury used to do like Sunday paintings with his kids. Uh-huh. And one day he just did like a jack-o'-lantern tree. Like he didn't do anything with it. He just thought of it and made it. Yeah. He's like, I'm bringing this. What do you think? And then his buddy is the one that said, oh my God, that's a perfect metaphor for all the histories of Halloween. Is like a genealogy thing. And then
I love this.
Ray was like, hey, let's do it. Like, I love your animation. Like the animator friend was also kind of upset about the ending of the Peanuts Great Pumpkin special. So because they were so angry about it. And he even said like, because Halloween is his favorite holiday and he thought that they did a disservice to it. He said, you wouldn't shoot Santa Claus, would you? Would you shoot Santa Claus coming down the chimney? Would you eat the Easter Bunny for dinner? Then why are you going to have the Great Pumpkin not show up? So that was like his rationale. Like, this is fucked up. I'm going to do it better.
Okay. This is amazing. I have so many questions. So when he wrote the novel, he was already envisioning a cartoon for it?
Apparently, he wrote a screenplay with Chuck Jones, who was like Bugs Bunny Roadrunner. Mm-hmm. And then when he did that, he said, well, I might as well like write a novel.
So they happened. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So it was screenplay, novel, and then that original screenplay like bottomed out with some like company stuff. Like the company didn't want it anymore. And then, so that went away. And then he did another screenplay. So it was screenplay, book, screenplay.
This is wild.
Yeah, okay. Right?
So is Chuck Jones, was he involved in the movie that we know?
No, that was, so Chuck Jones, I think, was part of like MGM. And they were like, at the time that they wrote that, like it was starting to get made. And then they're like, no, animation's dead. Like no one wants to do it. And also Halloween, like, what's that? Who cares?
Boo.
Yeah. So he like sat on it for a while and then he had the book. And then later on, the animation company Hanna-Barbera, they wanted to do it. And he's like, okay, yeah, I love what you guys do. Let's make it happen again.
This is bonkers.
Yeah. And then they were the ones that said, hey, you have a lot of like guys. Do you want to add a girl? Because
yeah,
you want girls to watch it too, right?
Yeah. Right. And then he kind of like made one of the characters, Jenny. And then, so.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Isn't that pretty funny that he is just like,
God.
And also like, turns out the Notre Dame scene, that was also based on another piece of media that he was like pissed off about.
Was it Wheel of Time? Oh, no.
Wait, are you pissed off about that?
No, I'm not pissed off about it, but there's a scene in Wheel of Time like that. So when they get to Notre Dame, it's like it's not fully built. It's like they see it like torn down and like ramshackle, and then Moundshroud is like, just climb up the stairs. The stones will follow you. Build it with your feet. And so they're just like taking steps, like literal leaps of faith into dead air as the stones like come up to meet them. And that happens in Wheel of Time, which
Really?
boy, I think that first book where I'm pretty sure it happens is like a contemporary of this. I'm not sure off the top of my head which one came first. Might have been Wheel of Time.
Oh, interesting.
Hold on, I'm Googling it. Well, what was he pissed about?
Oh, okay. So, something. See, I don't know any of this at all. Some movie or story called "Kidnapped" by Robert Louis Stevens. Does that ring any bells for anyone?
No, but I'm going to
It's
Google it.
Stevenson, isn't it?
Stevenson, yeah, probably. Like,
What's
I
the
don't know
name?
this guy.
Again?
Robert Louis Stevens or Stevenson. But Bradbury was saying that there was like a moment where there was like, he might have been in Notre Dame or something, or some character was walking up a corridor and it led to nowhere.
Oh.
And Ray Bradbury thought that's another like letdown, missed opportunity.
Okay,
I'm going to have the stairs go somewhere. And so he had like
love
this
that.
big extravagant build Notre Dame scene.
Yeah. That's Treasure Island, I think. Robert Louis Stevenson. That's Treasure Island.
Oh.
I am looking it up right now. Strange Case of Treasure Island. Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, damn! He did Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Treasure Island and Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, you'd think that that's the one I'd remember, given
Yeah, the topic
horror,
of this.
etc.
I mean, but at least you knew one of them. I was just here being like, I don't know.
Nice.
He wrote stuff. He did stuff.
Just by reputation. Okay, Treasure Island, is that the one where a large character gets like strapped down and a bunch of tiny characters?
That's Gulliver's Travel. That's Gulliver's
Travels.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Treasure
I know that one.
Island. I only remember the Muppet Treasure Island, the best Treasure Island.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, they go find a treasure on an island.
You know, I thought they might.
Yeah,
I thought they might.
They do. They might. Wait, do they end up learning something else? Isn't Tim Curry in that? Am I making stuff up?
What? I love Tim Curry.
I thought he was. Am I losing
Maybe.
it? Okay.
I don't know.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to look this up. This is important. You guys, wasn't Tim Curry in Muppet Treasure Island? Write in as I Google it.
I don't know.
Yeah, Tim Curry was in it. Oh, thank God. I was like, I feel like he was, and I'm gonna be really upset if he wasn't. Yeah, love Tim Curry.
Okay, so here's my question.
Yes.
What or who is Moundshroud? Is he death?
Is he the devil?
Is he the devil?
I don't know. I was looking at the IMDb trivia, and somebody said, or was it on Wikipedia? Somebody was like, he's the devil. And I was like, okay. I mean, fine. He's not bad. He's not evil. I don't think he's evil. I think he's like I feel like death would be more likely, but he feels like someone who's just trying to continue to keep the balance.
Yeah, which is why I was thinking more along the lines of death, especially with a name like Moundshroud.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
And then he like can't be in the shadow of Notre Dame because it's a church.
So that's why they said that they thought he was the devil, is because he cannot be in the church.
Well, there's plenty of stuff that can't be in a church.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's correct.
Right.
Can death not be in a church?
And you know what? He could go in the church. He couldn't be in the shadow of the church, right? Like the moon is behind the church, and then he conjures up clouds to obscure the moon so that he can move forward.
I don't know. I'm gonna Google this. I did not think about that. Nope. Google is not helping me.
So,
no.
in that interview, I think Bradbury does think of Mount Shroud as death.
Mm.
Okay, that makes me feel better because whenever they said the devil, I was like, meh, okay.
Yeah, I could see it like not being able to go near Notre Dame, the cathedral, but
Yeah.
he seems like very like almost impartial, you know? Like he's like he's not
He
mean.
is partial to taking Pip. He's
That's
like,
true.
Pip is mine. Pip is, you guys, I will help you out and I will teach you. But he also seems like I don't want to be like a force for good, but he's even like, you need to pay respects to who you dress up as, which I thought was very important. And it's like,
he's like, you need to understand what it is that you're doing
before. Yeah. And I like, and that's the thing that I think I appreciate and is very topical for like this time of this age and time.
Yeah, he's like, you are culturally appropriating.
Right.
You're about to get yourself canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm about to cancel all you brats.
And he does a phenomenal job, and you learn about each of them. And like, even when he talks about the witches, he's like, they didn't really do magic. And like, he was like, but they were just really smart.
Yeah.
They were healers. Is that also like they helped with stuff? And people were like, how do they know this? And they're like, I don't know.
Let's
They
kill
read
them.
something. I mean, is that the future? Oh, it's fine.
What if they had showed up in like joke costumes? Where do you think he would have taken them?
Oh no!
Like,
if they were
one
like
of
a
them dressed up as like a
He's
fart
like,
or something.
Wario, what do I do with this?
Mario.
I guess we're going to
Italy?
Okay.
But like, is it like the evil part of Italy? Like, is there an evil?
Like, what are we doing?
We're gonna learn about plumbing.
Yeah.
And the history of turtles.
And how to identify mushrooms?
Yeah. Scavenger hunt.
Yeah, how has Mount Shroud evolved over the years? Because he definitely is like some sort of eternal character.
For sure.
You know, he's like, I'll see you at the end of your life when it comes time for me to take that last year. He's like, we have an appointment.
You know what I thought was messed up? So I loosely paid attention to the audiobook, but I did catch the ending really well. Turns out in the book, Mount Shroud strikes the deal with the kids, which made more sense to me because when I first
he like brings it up.
Yeah. When I first watched it, I thought
that's a little more nefarious.
Yeah. But when I first watched it, I thought, well, what's like 1 year or like in total 4 years for like the life of like, or the hypothetical life potential of Pip, who could live to be like 60.
Yeah.
It's like 60 versus 4, you know, and if the currency is like years of life, that seems like a bad deal.
Right. Yeah. No, I had the same thought. Why is this cool? Why is this good?
But in the book, since he suggests it, it makes more sense. Like, oh, he wants this. Like, it's not something that he's like considering. He's like, hey, I'll help your friend out if
it's just like an investment. Like you're investing in something, and he's like,
oh yeah,
in 60 years, I'm gonna get 5 lives instead of 1 life now.
And the interest on those lives is gonna like pay dividends.
Yeah. Well, also in the book, since it's 8 boys, it's a way sweeter deal, right? 8 years.
Oh, that's true.
Wait, why did you have to say boys? Are you saying a girl's life is less?
Yeah, Ryan.
The fuck, Ryan.
Yeah, Jenny basically doesn't count in this deal.
Yeah, she's...
No, but
well, his last name is
interesting.
Tate, so...
That's also interesting because it's like where like you get a year off my life. It's not that you get my eternal soul. You get the last year of my life. So like, is he like feeding off of it? Like,
interesting.
I don't understand.
Does he have? Do they go to like a in between area where it belongs to him for a year?
Yeah. Like, does he have? Do they like have to hang out
Are
with
they like
Mount Shroud for a year?
Powered?
And if so, if we're hanging out with Mount Shroud for a year, is it like this? Like, are we just gonna bop around through vortexes and like learn
maybe
stuff?
we should all just give up all of our years.
Yeah, like
That sounds
however
great.
many years I have left, they're yours.
You
Like,
gotta
let's
eat.
chill.
You gotta eat delicacies from everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this sounds
I can get
way
like a
better
sugar
than
skull
just
with my
sitting
name
in
on
my
it.
room.
Oh,
Sick.
I mean,
So,
he
like,
sold
I
it
don't
really well,
understand. I don't really understand the lore.
but I
And you know what?
appreciate it.
Here's another part that confuses me is when we first are going to chase after Pip, Moundshroud takes them to that like abandoned zoo, I guess, with all of the like posters for past like attractions, and they build a kite out of that to fly through this like time space vortex to get to Egypt. And then after Egypt, they've got to move on to the next place, and Moundshroud just like billows out his cloak, and all the kids grab onto his cloak, and then they go. And I was like, you fucker, like you could fly from the beginning. Why did we have to make that kite? You could just bop us around. And then I feel like at some point he essentially just like tornadoes them away in like a magic dust tornado. Like, what? Why are you complicating things, Moundshroud?
Yeah, that's true. Moundshroud really could have streamlined this whole night. Who knows how much precious time they lost building that stupid kite.
He's like, but the theater. This is my culture. This is
Build
my
it.
branch of the Halloween tree. This is how I celebrate.
That's true.
Oh, I love this movie. Okay, so what do you think their parents were doing? Because they don't go
Getting
home until
drunk.
dawn.
It's like in Hocus Pocus. You know how the
It's
family
like
was
Hocus
at the
Pocus,
party?
yeah.
Yeah, like they gotta go to their own shit. Like they're
I guess so.
psyched about their own Halloween parties. Like, I mean, I know that everyone in the room here doesn't have children, but like if we did, that would be the night of the year that I'd be like, find some friends. I have to go.
Yeah, get out.
Yeah,
I've got my own shit tonight. I've got my own shit.
Dance until you die. Have you guys seen the new Hocus Pocus yet?
Not yet. I think we're gonna watch it sometime this week.
Is it good?
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
I really want to see it.
The first one is. The first
Oh,
one's
The
great.
first
first
one
one's
is good.
great.
Ryan, you saw it for the first time last year, I think.
Yeah.
He watched Beetlejuice for the first time this year.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
have been late to every Halloween
But not-
classic.
Oh, I guess
ever.
Halloween Tree was in the when you're in your 20s. But yeah. I mean, it's like one of those experiences where you're like, God, I wish I could watch this movie again and see it for the first time. It's like I get to do that with Ryan right now. It's pretty sweet.
I got it. I'm like, I understand all the merchandise now. Like, this is a great fucking movie.
I'm so surprised. So I rewatched Beetlejuice for the first time in probably like 10 or 15 years, a couple years ago, and was like, Beetlejuice doesn't show up until like 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's not
Like, we're
necessarily the
just-
actual main subject of the movie. It's kind of like,
But that's when the fun starts, you know?
but what else would you call it? Yeah, that's true. Very true.
I don't know. I'm still salty about that. Love that movie. Love it. What do you guys have more to say about the Halloween tree? I just like have so many like feelings about it.
I have a lot of, I just appreciate, and I think we just touched on it, just that it was educational and took you through how other cultures, because like you think about the other things where they do have in Egypt, how they respect their dead and how Dia de los Muertos, how they respect their dead. And you know what? I'm about to just repeat everything we've already said, so I don't think it's that good of a point to make. But I just love the educational aspect of it. It's stuff that I knew because of my age, I would say. But as a child, I would have loved to know that. And I think it would have made me, I don't know if it would have made me a better person, but it definitely would have made me understand things a little bit better. And I wish that they made Halloween child movies like this and not just, I don't know, like bright colors for funsies. I'm trying to think of the last. Can you think of any child Halloween movies that have come out recently? Ryan and I have watched like the Shrek Tales and like the Disney has like a shortened movie Tales, but none of them have an educational aspect to help you understand. Coco. Sorry, Coco is about Dia de
That's
los Muertos,
good.
which was amazing. Yeah. And there's the Book of Life, which is the one that came out a little bit before Coco. I loved Coco, but and Book of Life was beautiful, but the story wasn't as exciting as Coco. In my opinion.
I don't know either of them.
You should watch
But
Coco. It is a beautiful movie.
That's a musical, yeah?
I watch it nonstop. Yeah, I've watched it. That is probably my top like 3 Disney Pixar movies, or Disney movie or Pixar. Like, I don't know. It's in my top 10 of movies, period. So
yeah, everybody loves it.
I definitely
Everybody
would push
loves that
Coco. What is the other one that came out recently? The one that's in Colombia. Bruno.
Gosh, I do not know.
No.
Oh, but nobody talks about Bruno.
Yeah, what's that one? What was that one?
Moana?
I don't.
No.
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 One of the girls is strong.
Yes. Why am I forgetting the name of
It's
the movie?
called
I can sing the songs in the movie.
Enchanted?
Honestly,
Encanto.
Encanto. is that Halloween?
No, I just thought about it because I was like, that came out a little bit after Coco. Not a little bit. It's many years after, but I just appreciate that Pixar is not just continuing to whitewash everything. And it's not just about white people. And I feel like learning about other cultures is beautiful, and you can make better movies that way.
I mean, you can make better everything. Like, the more voices you bring to the table, the more robust whatever it is that you're building will be.
Agreed.
I don't know. Everybody go watch this movie. I love that you guys didn't watch it until you were
Yeah, I had no
grown-ups.
idea Ryan didn't watch it until he was older. I don't know why. I just thought you had watched it when you were a child too, Ryan.
Well, I've watched it every year since.
I'm so pleased. Like, that brings me so much joy because I watched it as a kid, right? So I like have kid memories associated with it, and you can't trust those. Like, I loved stuff as a kid that's bad now, I'm sure, but I especially love that, like, you watched it in your 20s and Chelsea watched it even more grown. So, like, we're getting different points in time, and it still is good and you can still enjoy it. So everybody go watch it. Go watch it. It's fun for all ages.
10-4. Holds up.
Yeah. One of the best Halloween stories ever told.
So fun and like so quintessential Halloween. Like, you can smell the autumn air. You know what I mean? Oh, so spooky. So fun. Okay, I do have a question. How do I make a Halloween tree in my front yard?
Oh, for your actual tree? Do you have a tree in your front yard?
Yeah, it's in the like hell strip.
Okay.
Past the sidewalk before the street. So I could work with that. Or do I like affix something to the house? I was thinking, like, could I affix like a bough with like pumpkins on it?
Yeah, you'd have to make.
They'd have to be
lightweight.
pumpkins.
Yeah. You'd probably have to do styrofoam or something, but you wouldn't want it to be too light because you wouldn't want it to get caught in the wind too much.
That's a great point. I had not considered that.
And if you'd want to go above and beyond, you'd have to make them glow. So you'd probably have to put lights
glowing
in them.
is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Like,
lights
they gotta
mandatory.
glow. Yeah.
I guess the size of the pumpkins would be up to your interpretation. If you look at the cover of one of the novels, it does have like tinier pumpkins. In the movie, it has like normal sized pumpkins that you would see on someone's steps.
I think I'd want a mix.
Yeah.
I want like a mix of sizes.
I think that would be how you need to do it.
Are tiny souls tinier?
Yeah, I was like, I'm worried.
Humans?
Is that, or are they just
Whoa.
people that made less of an impact on Halloween?
Yeah,
Because is this that Pip made a big impact for he did make a big impact for everyone in his friend group.
He did,
and you find
That's
that
why
out
he
by
was so
their
valuable.
their relationships and what they talk about.
Oh, and so that was another thing I wanted to talk about. So the start of the story, when we're like learning about Pip, it's like he's like a town hero or like a town legend. Like,
Yeah.
what does he say? It's like, some say that on the day of his birth, all the soda pops in town overflowed or whatever. Like, everybody loves Pip.
Yeah,
He's a darling.
He's like the fastest runner, the best thrower, the best catcher.
Well, so I'm just curious, like, what happens after this? So, like, was he super special, and that's why we're like, Mounttrout is obsessed with him?
Oh.
And does he become like normal after this? Like, he's still going to be like thoughtful and caring, like that's personality, but is he still going to be like lucky and like, can he jump the highest now? Like,
oh, interesting.
you know, like what happens after this? Does that change? Is he still like,
he goes by a new
magical?
alias, Albert Einstein.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Whoa!
Yeah, I don't know if he would lose his powers, or maybe he's just inherently that way and that's how he will be forever. And it would that mean that the lives of the other ones were not as important, that they would be taken away? I don't know. I think part of it comes from the conversations that he has with each person, because even with Tom, he was like, and this was something that it touched on that I think happens in young friendships that I don't think is ever talked about in movies. But Tom being like, I was kind of okay with you getting appendicitis because it meant I could be the leader for once. And then Pip was just like, no, we can both do it. You could have just told me, my friend.
Whenever you want. Yeah.
And it was like, it's that thing that's trying to teach you to have communication before it's too late. And like, your friend is ill and like, you can't, and like, I don't know. It was just really, that part really got me, is between Tom and Pip.
Yeah, because it was even like heavier than I was sort of okay with you getting appendicitis. Tom was like, I wished something would happen to you so that I could lead. Like Tom was like, this is my fault. And Pip is like, no, it's not. Like, no, it isn't.
Yeah, he's like, you didn't give me appendicitis, but thanks. But it's just, Pip is this kind, gentle soul that is kind to all of his friends, and you can see why he's like the leader. But like the fact that you have like these feelings as a normal person, like having those feelings and having the feelings of each of them that they had throughout the movie is just
you know what? I was upset though when Ralph has his moment with Pip. He's like, you're my only friend who didn't make fun of me for wearing glasses. And I was like, so did Jenny and Wally and Tom make fun of you for your glasses?
That's
what
cold.
the fuck, Ralph? Like, you're just hanging out with them after they've been mean?
Yeah.
Boo.
But it is like, I don't know, just having that kind of like, having those things said out loud in a kid's movie, I think was, maybe I'm misremembering, but it just felt like few and far between would actually have the thoughts that children actually have. And I feel like Ray Bradbury, as a super old adult, was able to capture that very well. And I wish I had watched it as a kid, because I feel like I would have felt way better about different situations in my life by hearing those things.
I definitely loved it as a kid. I don't remember ever like being in a situation and being like, this is like Halloween Tree, but that's also not how like core memories impact you. I don't know. Bradbury wrote a lot of stories about kids, around kids. I haven't read much other than, you know, the big one.
Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah, that's the one. But I know he did like, there's one where kids like want to run away in the circus. That's him. Something Wicked This Way Comes, I think is that.
Oh, he also, didn't he write something about Mars or something?
Yeah, the Martian Chronicles. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
He's right. Dandelion Wine, which is also coming of age. Green Shadows, White Veil. And he consulted on scripts, which, great job. He should consult on all scripts.
Yeah.
This was a phenomenal movie.
He's got talent for that. What was everyone's favorite part?
Ooh.
I think the ravine.
Yeah, that monologue.
We're really talking about the ravine. And then the end.
Mwah.
I loved the end of the movie and the fact that they were willing to sacrifice their own lives to save Pip, and how I don't know. I've just been thinking so much about community lately and how important community is. And even as children, having that group of friends and people that care about you, how important that is.
Yeah.
And that it just like, I don't know, has, and just going through everything, going through all that. I can't pick a favorite, just the entire movie. I'm just going to say the entire movie, all of it.
Yeah, from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
All
What
of
about
it.
you, Ryan? What's your favorite part?
I was gonna say the ravine monologue. I love that part.
Yeah. Was there any part? I mean, you guys watched it as grown-ups, so I expect the answer is no. Was there any part that was scary?
When he walks through the catacombs and then there are people moving.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
at the
That,
end.
I mean,
when
I
they
wouldn't say
all-
that that's super scary, but I was enough to be like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, like skeletons approaching you as you're trying to get to your friend. That's scary.
Yeah. That's the part
scary.
I would say.
Did any part scare you? Because you watched it when you were a kid.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what scared me is like stupidly existential, which speaks to what I was like as a kid. Insufferable. The thing that scared me always was, okay, so in each of the times and places that they go to, Moundshroud like plays a character. So he plays like a mummy in Egypt, and then in Mexico for Dia de los Muertos, he plays like a vendor in the street and his face is shrouded and he's selling sugar skulls and he's giving them skulls with their names on them. And that was always like weird to me.
Really?
Like that scared me as a kid. Like I don't know if it was that like just that scene because he does it so whimsically. Like there's like something spooky about it. They like run into him in like an alley and he's like asking their names and tossing them skulls and he's saying weird things like eat.
Yeah.
And then
He's like, swallow
when they-
and chew,
Yeah,
and swallow.
And then when they're like, we got to find Pip, he like reveals himself and we learn that it's Moundshroud and he gets a skull with Pip's name on it and he breaks it into 4 pieces and gives them each a piece. And that was always like, I don't know, man, that stuck with me. Like as a kid, I was like, what are we doing? Like I think that it had like sacrament vibes to it. Like it was like that, but then also like, I don't know, the fact that their names are on it is like what really stuck with me. And even now as a grown up, I like don't really know why that scared me as a kid.
I love that answer.
But even
That's so
rewatching
interesting.
it, I was like, this is still weird to me. This
Yeah.
still feels weird. I don't know why.
I'm going to go rewatch. Let's see. No.
Oh, great movie. Everybody check it out if you haven't. Do we have more? Do we have more to say about it?
I think we covered everything.
We did that. Okay. Before I get into next episode, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. This was super fun.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
And I will put links in the description to your YouTube channel and your Instagram and your Etsy. All of those are Ryan Tate Art. If you guys want to just Google it, that's his
Handle?
What do you call him? Handle. Thank you. Jesus. On all of Jesus sacrament. Eating skulls with your names on them. That's him
Sugar skull.
on all of the social medias. Yeah. And please remember to check out Chelsea and I over on our other podcast, which is also co-hosted with Nate Regolia. You guys have heard him on this feed. We, I think our most recent episode was about the first creepypasta, which is Ted the Caver, and it is legitimately very scary, and you should check it out. Read it if you can. Super fun. Go listen to that episode. And our next episode here on Never Show the Monster will be a Shootin the Shit episode, which sneaky phrase, look for new art on that one by somebody very special. Hashtag Ryan Tate Art.
I'm so excited.
So keep your eyes peeled for that. And in that, we will be discussing Barbarian and smile, some new horror movies. And we haven't decided our next theme, but keep you're subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And so we will see you next week. And in the meantime, please remember to rate and review our podcast over on iTunes. And we will talk to you then for some current scary movies. Happy spookies.
Happy spookies.
Happy spookies.